Next speaker is GVL Narasimha Rao garu. GVL Narasimha Rao garu. Speak loudly, sir. Speak
loudly. Thank you, Chairman sir. When we speak about the resurgence of Indian economy, it is important for us to reflect on India's historical economic stature and see in that trend, in that over centuries, how India has become, how over decades India has become stronger. Today, we are certainly celebrating as the fifth largest economy. This is a great achievement for the country. We have been able to, from the 10th position in 2014, in a matter of few years, we have reached the fifth largest economy position today. And a report yesterday by the S&P, it states how India is going to be the third largest economy by 2030. So by the time Honorable Prime Minister completes his term in 2029 and gets ready for his fourth term, India would have become the third largest economy in the world. And if you go back a few centuries ago, in ancient India, we were the largest economy of the world. We were known as the golden bird, Sone ki chidiya, until 5th century AD. This remained India's position in the global, in the global scenario. But 1,000 years of rule by invaders, by foreign rulers, has robbed India not only of its rich wealth, it also robbed India of its confidence. So when Honorable Prime Minister took over as the Prime Minister of the country, he has given a complete new direction to India's economy. He has instilled confidence in India's growth story, and Amrit Kal has truly begun. We are certainly passing through this Amrit Kal. And Atmanirbhar Bharat is the strategy for achieving India's preeminent position in the global economy. And I would like to tell our friends from across the treasury benches, the opposition benches, I'd like them to know. In 2004, when UPA came to power, India was the 12th largest economy. They were in power for 5 years until 2009. India moved from the 12th to the 11th rank. And they remained in power for another 5 years. In those 5 years, they could take India from the 11th to only 10th rank. But look at the geometric growth experienced during the rule of the Honorable Prime Minister. India, I think you have blamed it as Hindu rate of growth. You have used governments of the Congress denomination in the early years of independence have used this term Hindu rate of growth to deride Hindu religion. But during 10 years of your rule, what have you done to Indian economy? You have not been able to. You claim to have given great growth during the years of Manmohan Singh regime, but all that India could move was from the 12th rank to the 11th rank, going on to 10th rank. But Prime Minister Modi ji, in a manner of 9 years, he has taken India to the 5th rank, and in a manner of years, by the completion of his next term, we are going to be the third largest economy in the world. This is certainly a huge achievement for the country, and that is what is giving the BJP and Honorable Prime Minister and his leadership a huge fillip in India's elections. So, inflation. Our friends, I have busted their theory of growth. We gave growth. we gave a high growth economy. And I told them how India's position remained globally at the same, almost at the same level through 10 years of UPA. And let me now bust their inflation claims. During the first 5 years of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, the average inflation rate in India was only 4.4%, well below the RBI ordained level, which is range between 4 to 6%. Look at the Congress party's performance. Look at the UPA performance. What was the inflation levels in the UPA rule? In 4 years, between 2004 and 2014, inflation levels were well below 10%. Double-digit inflation, what UPA has given this country. It was 13.9% in 2009 and 10. And under Prime Minister Modi ji, at a time when the world is experiencing one of the highest levels of inflation, India has been able to contain inflation well below even the RBI levels. Let me give you some numbers. The US inflation level is above 7%. Let me give you the exact number. US experienced over 7%, highest inflation in 40 years. UK is experiencing one of the highest inflations in the last 30 years. It is currently 7.9%. It was in June 2023, which is a high after 41 years. Europe is also struggling with inflation. Germany, which is Europe's largest economy, also has one of the highest inflation levels. It is only India which has not only maintained high growth during the post-COVID period, it has also maintained very, very low to moderate levels of inflation. So the friends from the Congress who claim there is high inflation must look back, because any comparisons that you do, any comparison of any performance, you have to do over time. You have to do spatially, and you have to do cross-sectionally. And time series performance clearly tells us how Congress governments have given only inflation and not a real growth. Let me give some more numbers. One of the highest levels of inflation in India's post-independent India were 19.3% in 91-92 under a Congress leadership, 95-96, 12.8%, and under Srimati Indira Gandhi, it even touched double-digit. It crossed even 30% for 2 years. So this is the Congress story. So every time Congress comes to power, they bring inflation along, and it is only the BJP-led governments, the NDA governments under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, which have given relief to the common man. Jab Congress aati hai, tab mehengai lati hai. I think this would be a nice slogan that would go along with them, because in Karnataka, where they came to power only in early this year, in May this year, soon after they came to power, they hiked milk prices by 3 rupees per litre. They hiked electricity charges, though through a very indirect mechanism, by increasing fuel and power purchase cost elements in this. They have increased every commodity that a common man needs for his survival. So the Congress party's only guarantee is mehengai guarantee, is inflation guarantee, and nothing else. So if you look at our performance, India's GDP growth for the last year was 7.2%, the fastest growing economy of all the major economies in the world. And this has been possible. This high growth trajectory has become possible because of a measured response, because of a judicious economic policies that the government pursued, mainly during the COVID and post-COVID era. and friends from the opposition, all of them claim that India's economy can only be revived by putting money directly into the hands of the people, by giving helicopter money. But that kind of any country, all countries that have followed that prescription have actually failed. And these are the countries which are experiencing one of the highest inflation levels in half a century. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's economic vision and economic policy is today being hailed as the best in the entire world. What has made this kind of an economic transformation, this kind of a turnaround possible? Let me give a few illustrations. Let me cite a few cases. One, the Atmanirbhar vision. I think COVID, which is a challenging period for the entire globe, was used to unveil a new economic vision that was Atmanirbhar Bharat vision that has actually helped India transform its economy. Also, our governance principle, Prime Minister's governance principle of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, actually translated into money reaching to the most needy people and ensuring that they do not suffer the hardships of the COVID period, and they are able to lead a very happy and a healthy life. Second, a digital revolution. I think the whole world is overawed by the success of Indian economic digital revolution. Today, in October 2023, we have touched an all-time high of 11.4 billion UPI transactions, crossing even 10 billion transactions that we got successively for the 3 months. And this resulted in a digital transaction of over 17.16 lakh crore. So this certainly was a contributor. It transformed Indian economy into a cash-based economy, into a digital economy. Clearing the banking mess, because what the UPA left for Narendra Modi ji was a banking sector in complete mess. This government has not only cleaned up the banking sector, it has actually infused dynamism into the sector. Today, the Indian banking sector is one of the best performing banking sectors anywhere in the world. While many banks, even central banks, have experienced difficulties abroad, Indian economy, Indian banking sector is going through its best periods. Gross NPAs and net NPAs are at their decadal lows. And public sector banks have their resources have now been used for acting as pillars of Jan Kalyan. In fact, public sector banks have recorded profits of over 1 lakh crore in the last financial year, and that money has been plowed into financing the welfare of the poor. Also, we have seen how a transparent regime like the GST, which is a huge contribution of Honorable Prime Minister. GST collections are at their highest levels. 1.72 lakh crore was the GST collection in October 2023. This is the second highest ever. A few months ago, a year ago, 1 lakh crore also was considered to be a very important milestone to be achieved. And today, we have crossed 1.73 lakh crore. This clearly shows the buoyancy in the Indian economy. It shows the resurgence in the Indian economy. And anyone who disputes it can only get their validation in these numbers. There is also a surge in direct tax income, direct tax revenues. The direct tax revenues are 10.6 lakh crore till 9th November, as against 10.6 lakh crore previous year during the same period, which has registered a near 22% healthy growth. This clearly shows even the net growth in corporate income tax collections shows a 12.5% rise. So there is a resurgence in the Indian economy across all the sectors. The investments, both the private investment and the foreign direct investment, have shown a big improvement. The foreign direct investment during the UPA
please
10
conclude,
years,
GV.
during the UPA 10 years was $304 billion, which has more than doubled to $628 billion so far. This is an increase of more than 100%. So with this kind of a performance, the country is poised to achieve its economic goals and
conclude.
very soon to become third largest economy in the world and going back to achieving India's ancient glory under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. Yehi Modi ji ki guarantee hai. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.